Good morning and welcome to the Boston OpenEdX Conference 2023. I'm Stefania Trabucchi. I'm Managing Director in Abstract Technology, a service provider, OpenEdX service provider in Europe. And today I'm very happy to introduce Xavier. He will talk about OpenCraft. We would like to have a discussion about OpenEdX and about the community in OpenEdX. So welcome, Xavier, to this interview. Please talk about you and tell us something about OpenCraft.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. So OpenCraft is one of the OpenEdX providers. We have been part of the project pretty much since the beginning. So that's more than 10 years ago, maybe I'm going to 11 at that point. So we work with many different partners, universities, companies to make sure that they get their needs on the OpenEdX platform fulfilled. We are also one of the main contributors to the project. We make sure that all the work that we do ends up being useful to the community as a whole and back into the project. And yeah, that's mainly it.
Yeah, excellent presentation about this huge company. Xavier, the conference is a place where we catch up new ideas, what's going on, what is going on at the moment in the OpenEdX community. What are the news in that today?
Lots of things. It's even hard to pick a main one, but there are lots of projects. I would say a lot of the things that are coming from the 2U and TQL split has been really good. The community in itself has had a huge boost from that. We are seeing a lot more contributions, people getting involved to contribute, to join working groups, and to be really involved in shaping the project versus just using it like it could have been in the past. So that's really good to see, actually, because it's a really good community, very dynamic, active, and seeing it empowered is really a pleasure. So that's on the community side. In terms of development, there is a big project coming up around modular learning, where we are trying, along with TQL, 2U, and OpenCraft, to make the platform more modular, so that parts of the courses can be split out, reused, mixed, and so that it becomes a bit more flexible to use courses and to reuse them afterwards.
Awesome. Xavier, would you like to tell us what does your client love most of OpenEdX? When they select OpenEdX, what does they like?
Well, it might depend on the client, but often the ease of use and authoring of the course is something that comes a lot. The open source aspect is also a really important point, because that means that nobody is never really a prisoner of anyone in particular. If we, on a given instance, things are not going well, it's always possible to even set up your own instance or move to another one. It's also possible to contribute features that we would like to see but wouldn't be able to get otherwise, which is more difficult in more proprietary projects. And the community itself, I think, is also a really big one, because it's very welcoming. Being here at the OpenEdX conference is always a pleasure every year. It reminds us of how lucky I think we all are to be in that community. And yeah, getting that support is also a big plus.
Yeah. Xavier, my last question is about open source, which is a key feature for OpenEdX in general, for all the service providers, for all the clients are using it. But also you are very active in the OpenEdX community. How is it going in the community? What is the next step we are approaching, and why is open source community oriented very important? How would you explain it in a very efficient community like the one for OpenEdX?
Well, there are lots of things that are important and happening currently in the community, especially since the 2U split. I think that has really like given a boost to a lot of initiatives. I mean, even just, for example, the creation of the TOC, the Technical Oversight Community, is a big step for the project, because what used to be just one single organization taking all the decisions are now being split between several organizations and even the rest of the community, even having elections of board members. And that part is really important because it opens up the governance, it makes sure that OpenEdX positions itself for the long term, and it gives a path for everyone to get involved. So I think that's one really good thing. Maybe another one is seeing people getting involved, and not just necessarily on the open source aspect, but not just on the development side, but also even with courses themselves, or even non-technical contributions. There is more and more of that that's around. So yeah, I would encourage anyone who is interested in this, or maybe wondering if they can actually do something for the OpenEdX project, to have a look at the various working groups, which are really active. I think we have doubled the size of those working groups over the last year. So whatever you're interested in, or whatever you want to improve in the platform, have a look, and that's probably something for you.
Oh, excellent. Xavier, you made a talk yesterday, you have had a session. Maybe you can just tell that it has been recorded. Mm-hmm. So what was the topic yesterday?
It was about building collaborative classes. So OpenEdX is an open source project, so that has been part of the DNA of the community from the beginning. But for the courses themselves, a lot of them are not that open, not necessarily open to contributions and etc. And I think some of that is just habits, the way courses were done in the past. And there is a really good opportunity to like explore new ways of collaborating and interacting with students. So that talk was about like some of the techniques that have been learned in open source projects, how that can be applied to courses. And there was a significant amount of interest for it, because it's not something that comes really naturally unless you've been exposed to really open source practice, and that's usually more on the technical side. So if you're interested in that, in exploring new ways of interacting with students in your courses, I would definitely encourage you to have a look at the recording, and let me know if there is anything in there that you'd like to talk about.
Yeah, I will definitely promote this recording, so take a look to it, Xavier, with the topic. And thank you very much for being here. Enjoy the conference, and see you next year for sure. Thank you.